So you very intentionally branded yourself the very social broker, so handle
Yes.
on everything. How'd you come up with that? How'd the concept come about?
Well, I feel like I'm social, and I feel like being social and being a broker go hand to hand.
Right.
And I'm all about connecting, networking, building relationship, and those are all the characteristics that makes a really good real estate agent. So here you are, the very social broker.
Now, how did you first decide you wanted to get into real estate? What led you to it?
Well, I've always been an entrepreneur. When I was in college, I had a production company. I pretty much ran all the clubs and bars in Tampa, Florida.
Wow.
USF,
Yeah.
you stay forever. I didn't want to leave. It was a lot of fun. And then I moved on. I owned high-end puppy boutiques called Palm Beach
Okay.
Puppies in Florida, and I franchised that business. I ended up selling it when I was 30. I came to New York and I had like 10 jobs in 2 years. I either quit or got fired. And then I got into real estate, and I always loved $1 million listing. And
Yeah.
I would say, Brian Serhan, you got me into real estate. But I just love that the creativity that they use to sell real estate, to market themselves, the branding that they did. So I here I am 10 years later.
If you weren't a broker, what do you think you'd be doing right now?
I love basketball.
Really?
I really love
Are you tall
basketball.
enough?
Definitely, probably not a player, but maybe being like a sports agent. Yeah, I love basketball.
So you often say that real estate isn't just your job, it's a lifestyle. And I think a lot of agents feel that way. It's a very 24/7 career. So
Yes.
I think what I'd like to know is how do you find balance in a job like that? And what would you say your day to day looks like?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm at a point where I really get my schedule, and I'm very like I really love the routine. So I meditate every morning. And if you would have known me when I first started real estate, I was like a chicken with my head cut off, and I couldn't even breathe. I was working doing all rentals, and I
Yeah.
feel like the rental cycle is just like you have like such a limited time to like find your clients
Yeah.
an apartment, and they're kind of like they're looking on their own, they're looking with you. And I was just so wound up for 2 years of just doing rentals, that I've really learned to like slow it down. I read every morning. For the last 3 years, I read for about an hour every morning, and I'm reading like 15 books a year. And I think that's really helped me with my confidence, because like I really work on the craft. I work on my negotiability, on knowing New York City, on communicate. I'm just I'm always trying to like up my skills.
Yeah. Circling back, do you have a favorite book of all time? Or maybe that you've read this year?
Yeah, that's a tough question, because I mean, right now I'm reading The Power Broker, Robert Moses. It's 1,100 pages. It's huge because I really want to understand the inner workings of New York City,
Right.
Especially like where this mayoral race is going right now. I just want to like understand like New York City and how things actually work.
Right.
And like Robert Moses was in power for 40 years. He built so much of New York City. So I think it's like really like going back to like the 1920s, and really like figuring it out. I think that's a book. I mean, I'm halfway through it right now, but I really like Atomic Habits, because I think having like good habits really like make me better. And I like, even with like the reading of the books, like I feel like I knew I wasn't gonna like overnight, it wasn't gonna just like snap, and I was gonna be like smarter, and just I knew. But over time, if I and
You let it
like
marinate.
like it just like it kind of like accumulated over time, but it takes time. And so I think like having habits where I'm like looking long term and not short term.
When you were building your team, when you were starting in real estate, did you have any mentors or people you looked up to in the space?
Yeah, so I was at Halstead. It's no longer around. I had great managers, Richard Grossman, Sarah Rotter. I called Sarah Rotter my rabbi, because she'll tell you a story. I was running around with no sight, and I was just a madman. And she really like wound me down, told me to meditate. Didn't actually meditate with her, but they were really like a good yin and yang management style, because
Yeah.
Richard was so smart, and just so knowledgeable about New York City and like how to structure deals and get deals done. And Sarah was so like mentally calming that the two of them you got me through my first half of real estate. And then the second half, I went to Compass, and I was really, I would say, like on my own, but I was ready to be on my own.
So you've closed over $750 million in
Yes.
sales. It's wild. Is there a deal or client that sticks out as particularly memorable or maybe impactful in your career?
Let's see here. It's a lot of deals. Well, I did the deal with Floyd Mayweather. That was pretty
Oh,
cool.
no way.
Yeah, yeah. And it was a rental, but it
Mhm.
was a big rental. It was a six-figure rental. And he literally moved in one day. And like in a condo with like board approval and all of that, like it was a lot of pushing and pulling and creative thinking and getting him comfortable and getting the owners comfortable, getting management, getting the board. So it was just a lot of like moving parts, and I was really orchestrating the whole thing. And I think like that's what I love about being a broker is just like kind of like pulling all the strings. I was talking to lawyers on everybody's side, a management company, and like just really quarterbacking the whole deal to get it done.
Do you enjoy working with these like high profile clients? Are there added complications?
I mean, I enjoy working with all clients. I was really working with his manager mostly. Like I showed him the apartment but like, he had his team, really running all the logistics and details. But yeah, I mean, it's great. It was great press. He loves the press just as much as I do. But some of my clients like don't want the press, and
of course,
you can't put everybody's business out there.
Makes sense. So something I find about real estate is you can't say a lot of things due to fair housing. So when you're trying to find the right neighborhood for a family, how do you go about that without violating all those different rules?
I feel like a lot of active listening.
Yeah.
Really like understanding like what your clients are looking for, and then just knowing the neighborhoods. I mean, been doing this for 10 years. I could tell if a certain neighborhood's not right for them and they need to be like uptown or downtown or east side or west side. So really like just being a matchmaker.
So something I found very interesting when looking you up is you co-founded Compass Bus,
yes,
which focuses on older adults trying to find homes, real estate transitions, all of that. What inspired that?
Yeah, well, it's the silver tsunami. America is getting older. I think like I was going to say a statistic, but it's been a while. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of clients that I have that are looking to downsize or moving to an older adults facility. So my grandma, she was in her 70s, and her husband passed away. And she was looking to go to an older adult facility. She just couldn't be in the house anymore by herself. So we helped her find the facility. We, went to, a couple different older adult communities. We had a relocator with us, like really guiding us, helping us, learning, the difference between each one, how much they cost. And it's really a unique way how each one of these, like how much it cost, especially with somebody who's in their late 70s. She was beginner Alzheimer's. Right. So it's like, she needed a lot of help from the facility. So then it was like, making that transition of like moving her into an older adult community and then getting the house ready for sale, I thought was really interesting. And, just being a Compass agent, talking to a lot of agents, there's a lot of other agents that are dealing with that. And it's like dealing with the families, having that sensitivity, knowing, how to speak to your clients. And really most of the time you're speaking to the children. Has being a certified senior advisor changed the way you handle transactions? Like you were talking about the sensitivity, the kind of emotional. Yeah, I mean, I think what's so great about CSA, it's not just real estate. Mm-hmm. It's, encompassing all things older adults. So yeah, it's made me a lot smarter. I think the way that I talk to, my clients, I think the pace that I talk to them, making sure that I'm listening to them and they're listening to me, and just being very aware of of like the pitfalls and how to avoid them.
What would you say are some of the biggest emotional and practical challenges that you run into when working with seniors, their families, when they have to downsize, relocate? What comes up?
Um, I feel like there's a lot of emotions because a lot of the time the children are making the decisions and they might have different opinions
Right.
on where their parent should go. So I think just being patient, really being that trusted advisor, having tactical empathy, having sympathy, and just really being that guiding source so they can make the right decision, and I can just facilitate the best way I can.
So zooming out to more like general sellers of houses, what do you find that people underestimate when it comes to preparing their home to be sold?
I feel like it's the look and feel of the home,
Right.
the presentation. Does it need to be painted? Is the furniture too cluttered? I'm such a great marketer, and I want to market a property that's beautiful. And some of the times it's just not perfect. It's also, I think a lot of the time the sellers aren't really having the buyer's perspective in mind. Like they have their own perspective in mind. They have their own needs in mind. And I think if they want to sell the quickest for the highest price, they really need to put the buyer's hat on.
With all these databases, how do you get a listing? Like, how does it pop out? How do you get people to see it when there's so many different places you can look and everybody's doing the virtual staging? How do you make yours different?
Well, I like to tell a story, and I'm really big when it comes to video marketing.
Right.
I love having a great listing video. I think it's so effective. It's so useful. I can't tell you how many times that I've been at a closing and the new buyer has told me that they've watched my video 100 times.
Wow.
Because
judging this has the space.
Yeah, just like a feel for it. I throw a little bit of personality, but I definitely don't make these videos about me. I really make telling the story about the apartment with a little bit of entertainment, because I'm posting the video through a lot of different mediums, and I want to grab attention, but like having that visual, and a lot of agents just aren't doing it. They don't want to spend the money, they don't want to do the effort. It does take effort and some creativity to have a really great video, but it makes all the world, and it leads to more business because other sellers are seeing that the videos and they're like, oh, I loved your video, could you come and do one for me? And that happens all the time.
Have you ever had a showing where something particularly strange or funny happened?
Yeah, one time I was in the middle of a showing and it was a big apartment,
right,
and I cleared access with the seller, and they had their uncle staying over. I didn't know that. And he was literally passed out on the couch as I'm giving a tour. And like, it wasn't like I was startled or anything. He was literally just sleeping through the whole entire tour. And I just like kept on going. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the uncle. And I just kind of just went with it. And he was just passed out. He didn't even know.
That's wild. So you founded Very Social, which is your social media marketing agency. That was how long? 5 years ago?
5 years.
So what made you realize there was this gap in the industry, and what prompted you to be the person to fill it?
Yeah, I mean, this was really when social media was just getting going. And I think that really helped me take like the next level in my business. And I really wanted to like separate myself. Like I was at a brokerage where I feel like there was a lot of like older agents that did things like the traditional way, and social media was like a new and innovative way to stand out.
Sure.
And I think really my like aha moment was when I found a $3 million buyer, when I did an Instagram story on like how to get first time buyers like educated in the market. And I got a DM from somebody who like I knew. I met her like one time at a gala, and we exchanged Instagrams, and then she was following me, I was following her. Maybe we messaged each other like randomly throughout the couple of years that we knew each other. But when I posted this video, she's like, hey, I'm actually thinking about buying. I was like, wow, this is actually a really great tool, because it like, as a real estate agent, you want to be connecting with as many people as you can, but it's really hard and uncomfortable to maybe reach out to somebody that you met one time. And it's like, hard to like build a relationship that like seems unauthentic. And I feel like social media is a great way to connect with people because I still was like, I was like looking at her stories and she'd be at a restaurant like, oh, I love that restaurant. Or she'd be on vacation like, oh, I can't wait to go there. So like I kind of built a relationship through social media. And then like I was just like top of mind when the moment came. And so I was like, all right, you know, I want to create a marketing agency where we could help real estate agents like brand and market themselves like on social media. And that's what we've been doing for the last 5 years.
You often say that Instagram can be an agent's primary marketing tool, but I think there's a lot of agents that are still relying on traditional methods, which still work. But what would you say to them to kind of open their mind?
Well, I feel like it's not the primary tool. I think it's like one of the many tools.
Right.
I mean, I really think you need to have so many different touch points. Like I believe in email marketing. I do a great monthly newsletter for pretty much my whole career, but I also have an email that I do called FSBO. It's for very social brokers only, not like FSBO for sale by owner, but it's my own version of a FSBO. And I think it just gets a lot of attention. So it's pretty much like a monthly like method to my madness of like what I'm up to, like marketing wise or inspirational, and like what's going on with me. And I think that's been a newsletter that's been a great way for me to like connect with the agent community. It's only for agents. But yeah, you know, video marketing, digital ads, having a great website, you know, networking, belonging to clubs, you know, seeing inventory, going to open houses. I mean, there's so many different touch points as an agent. But, you know, I think just through the years, I've been known as like the Instagram guy, and I think very social broker. Like if you really think about it, there's not a lot of agents that have like brands like I do. No. Like there's really not. And even if you think about it,
your name comes in.
It was a big moment when I went from, it was used, my Instagram handle used to be Ryan G Sells NYC.
Okay.
And it was like, you know what? I'm going to switch over to very social broker. And I think that was like, all right, I'm really going like into a brand because there's no other like branded agents out there. And also I feel like there's really not many teams out there that have names. If you think about it, like I always ask agents, I'm like, what teams? Like I think like the one team that comes to mind is Hudson Advisory. I mean, they sell $1 billion plus a year in real estate, and they have a great name.
Yeah.
But like, there's really not many other team names that you think about. So, you know, it just kind of like came about for branding myself.
So something we were talking about before was balancing the showing yourself off in social media with showing the property. And so I think my next question would be, how do you balance being authentic on social media, but then being practical and showing off, this is my property, these are the details, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think I stick to my pillars of content, which is really important. I think you need to look at yourself in the mirror and do like a really deep dive and like, what do I want to post about?
Right.
And I think that needs to be authentic. So like, what are my pillars? Real estate for sure. And that's like showing properties and doing like educational, inspirational videos. My family. I love being a dad, love all my family. And I post like what I'm doing with them, where I'm going. I love New York City. I'm very active in New York City. I go to restaurants and parks and museums and like pretty much anything like fun there is to do. Like I like to do it. And I think I do a good job telling the story of how I do it. I like bagels. No, but
what's your favorite bagel place though?
Well, I've done over 40 bagel reviews.
Really?
Yeah. I need to do more of the bagel content, but the carbs. No, but everyone always asks me what my
pub?
I think it's bagel pub is really, I think it's like a solid bagel.
Okay.
I think you can't go wrong with it. It's not one of the better bagels.
Okay.
I mean, I like Essa bagels. I feel like, you know, if I'm for Yom Kippur, that's where I'm going. I really like pop-up bagels. I like how their bagels are a little bit smaller, and I love the trout roe, little eggs with like, you know, the cream cheese and the lox. And then I think Apollo's solid. I think Russ and Daughters is great for, you know, the lox and the fish. And I like Sadel's for a brunch.
I think this is your true passion. So you also came out with a book 4 weeks ago, which is Very Social Agent.
Very social broker. Come
I keep
on.
calling you an agent. I keep
It's a
demoting
little.
you. I'm so sorry.
As long as you don't call me Brian, we're good.
All right, that's worse. So
Yeah, I'm also. That's also a passion of mine. I'm part of the
really?
Ryan meetup group.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And so we like rent out bars all around.
Is Sirhan available for this function or
Maybe, but Ryan Reynolds is. And so we're trying. We rent out bars and we all meet up, and only Ryans are allowed. Brian's are not allowed.
Understood.
And we're trying to break the world's record in 2026 for the most Ryans in one spot at the same. The most name.
You got to be able to do it.
Most people in one spot with the same name. We're looking at like 4,500 Ryans at the Javits Center 2026.
All right, I'm there. Well, actually, no, I'm not there.
Sorry, bro. Sorry, no.
So you start your book talking about very common mistakes that agents make when they're marketing themselves. What would you say are the top few mistakes you see?
I feel like agents are perfectionists, and I know so many agents that just like will do a video, they'll do a content piece, and then it just doesn't go anywhere because they're just micromanaging it. They're fixing this, editing that, and then it just like ends up not getting posted. I honestly will look at it over one time. I'll maybe make a couple edits, if that, and I just let it go. And I don't look at it again. Like I'm not the one that's like rewatching like me on video. Like this interview, I'm probably never gonna look at.
Understandable.
But yeah, I think you just need to put it out there.
Yeah, move forward. Do you see yourself ever writing a follow-up? I mean, it's been some time.
Yes. Well, first off, I am in the middle of a kid's book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm very excited about it. It's going to be out this fall.
Very social picture book.
No, but it actually is really cool. It's my daughter's involved in it, and she's on an adventure. Her best friend's leaving for Connecticut, which if you're a family, and your kid's in pre-K, you know that everybody is like, should I stay or should I go? And so her best friend leaves, and then they're on an adventure together, exploring all the different neighborhoods. And I got an amazing illustrator. And it's going to be a really great book.
Do you have a timeline on that?
This fall.
All right.
Yeah.
If we have it, I'll link it.
Yes.
Is it available for like pre-order?
It's like in process right now. Like I wrote it, it's being illustrated. Nice. Hopefully this fall.
All right. So you have a 10-person team at Compass. Yes. For budding agents that might want to join the team, what qualities do you typically look for when you're trying to expand?
Yeah, I feel like having a certain niche, like something that you feel like you're going to be able to like get business in. Either it's like cold calling or like having a certain network. Maybe it's alumni. Maybe it's like growing up in New York City. Rentals. Like having something that you really like want to specialize in, that you think you're going to get business. And I think really being able to like be a sponge, to not worry about money. And just really hustle hard.
All right, final question. If you could give one piece of advice to yourself when you were first starting out as a real estate agent, what would it be?
It would probably be to slow down, think things through, not take everything so personal, and to enjoy it.
That's great. Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you for letting me invade your conference room. I appreciate it. And we will see you on the.
This was great. I love your dad. Big fan. Pierre.
That was great.
Yes.
All right.